Big time fireworks over on Capitol Hill. Gary Gensler sitting before the House Financial Services Committee. Will, what do you got?
That's right. I think this is a story that's going to make Wendy particularly happy because Gary Gensler was getting it from all sides, especially from the Republicans on the Senate Banking Committee, or the House Banking Committee, I should rather say. Let's take a look at this clip from Representative Patrick McHenry from the great state of North Carolina interviewing Gary Gensler.
Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to anyone.
I know you've repeatedly said you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in the
asking about one.
The public is anticipating a profit based on the...
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law. And if there's a group of individuals...
I'm asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also...
But you have prejudged on this.
Pretty incredible stuff. That was from the House committee looking at financial services. This was exactly what Wendy wanted. Of course, we've all wanted for a little bit from the crypto community, I can say. I think from Gary Gensler's purview, though, I got to defend him a little bit here. Like, maybe he doesn't want to prejudge without putting out any sort of SEC documentation. On the other side, Patrick McHenry's side, and a lot of the House Republicans there, they're saying that he is liable to Congress and he must be informed by Congress, and they are not happy with the judgments and the job he is doing right now. Zach, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, that was some fireworks, man. That was spicy. That was some good stuff. I mean, this is what's going to happen today. What's going to happen today is there's going to be a lot of lawmakers who are saying, hey, some of my constituents, some of them are working for crypto firms. They want to know the rules to play by. They're not trying to flaunt the rules, not trying to break the rules. They just want the rules. And so exchanges like this indicate the level of frustration that the industry is feeling. And by way of their lawmakers that they've reached the ears of in some point in the past, you're hearing exchanges like this that are bordering on testy even. So the fact that this lack of clarity continues to plague the industry makes it really hard for the good actors in the space to comply. The lack of compliance, we saw this from other people on Capitol Hill, isn't the fault of those seeking to comply. They're alleging that it's the fault of Gary Gensler's SEC for failing to provide those rules of the road. And I think, as we're going to talk about later, is sort of people are looking elsewhere. People are looking to other countries to maybe set up shop. And I think ultimately this could be quite negative for the U.S. if this lack of clarity continues to persist and people doing their best to work above board within this industry keep falling under the SEC's hammer, seemingly all willy-nilly. It's kind of hard to say what's going on. But yeah, Wendy, I'm going to toss it to you. You probably have a spicier take. What did you think when you saw that exchange?
Well, today is the best day ever for me of 2023. It is so, so nice to see justice start to be served. I know that this is a long time coming. I know this is going to take a very long time, but it's just absolutely amazing how somebody who is in control of supposedly regulating cryptocurrencies not be able to give a clear answer. This man is getting paid with our taxpayer dollars to do a job. He can't even answer properly when being questioned. And he probably knew what questions he was going to be asked because it's a fun game between the red and the blue. But again, it's very embarrassing for America. We're hearing a lot of crypto companies wanting to leave overseas, which again is dangerous to lower level capitalism. It's dangerous to entrepreneurism. It's also dangerous to the United States of America economy as far as innovation goes. People came to America for a better quality of life, to have businesses, to live a lot more freely than where they were originally. I know that because my ancestors came here. And what we're seeing happening in 2023 is not only predatory, but it's very, very ridiculous. And I'm just happy to finally see the other public servants step in and ask questions and see what's going on and do an investigation. But I do remember our conversation yesterday with Will. Will was like, you know, you didn't say it was a nothing burger, but you said it's going to take some time to, to fall through. But at the same time, I understand that, but I'm just happy to see some progress being done because we haven't had any progress. We haven't had anybody step up to check Gary Gensler and the other public servants that are getting paid with our taxpayer dollars. And that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, grilling is certainly fun. I think everyone enjoys that, like a little back and forth here. And I think this just sort of highlights the tension between the two sides, right? As much as a lot of people in crypto do not want this to be a political issue, it is an issue more and more. And I think it will take a centerpiece in the next election, the next presidential cycle in 2024. Why? Because I think Bitcoin mining with its energy policies and with the climate change controversy there is one issue. And then CBDCs in the privatization of money or the publicization of money, another debating point. I think we're going to see this go just headlong between the two different political sides, and we're going to see more of these back and forths. I think it's important to note Gary Gensler is appointed by the Biden administration, right? He is running the SEC at the behest of that administration, while Congress, and especially in this Financial Services Committee, it's more Republican leaning, right? So I think we're going to see more of this. There's going to be more fireworks. Wendy, you'll certainly enjoy it. Zach, last thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you got to make hay while the sun's out, right? And I think Republicans on this House committee see an opportunity to paint Biden's executive branch as being incompetent, at least in this particular task. I don't personally see that crypto is going to be a major factor in the 2024 elections. I think it's too niche, really, that most people, honestly, in America still don't fully care. But that doesn't mean that these politicians are going to waste the opportunity to lambaste Gensler over, you know, what I think all observers would indicate is pretty sort of uneven application of these rules, right? An uneven application and an unfair position in terms of not sort of presenting, again, these rules of the road. You saw this letter from Congressional Republicans yesterday preceding this hearing saying, hey, man, like, their lack of compliance, it's on you, it's not on them. And I think that people in the industry certainly feel that way. And I think that's a fair assessment of what's going on. If you strip aside all the politics and all the mudslinging even, I think it is a fair assessment that the industry itself has been saying for years now, just give us some clear rules, give us some clarity. And this SEC has been unable to provide that. You had Hinman years ago say that ETH, by his estimation, looked like a commodity. That is not codified into law. And yet an entire industry has sort of been built upon whatever light reassurances that one commissioner's stance some years ago. It gives them the assurances that they can continue to build in a lawful manner. And I think that, you know, the fact that McHenry there was really drilling down on ETH is really important because Bitcoin, Gensler has been clear about, but ETH, which is obviously the big elephant in the room, hasn't benefited from that clarity, at least around Gensler's public statements. So that was definitely a good one to go in on.